Every time I look at the emails of a new e-commerce brand and they aren't able to make email marketing work for themselves, even with a good open rate or a large email list, is because they aren't aware and they're not respecting the principle I'm going to share with you today. It literally happens all of the time, and these lessons allow me to really make millions of dollars for a client. You can watch, I have a case study playlist, but for this one in particular, you can click here and watch it. This document is going to be in the description so you can learn the foundational knowledge behind making revenue with email marketing. So you can really apply this to every email so they don't bomb basically. The first thing is that 70% of the people who will open your email will be on mobile. So this is the most important platform that you need to nail, and you need to optimize your email for mobile. So this is really important. And additionally, most people have a Gmail inbox. So this is the view most people will have when they open your email. You'll have that red box right here, and this is what's called above the fold. This is the first bit of your email that people will see, because that email is long. Before scrolling, they will only see the part in red that's here. And it only represents 50% of their screen. So if they have a notification, they have TikTok available in 2 clicks, really in 2 seconds, you have to catch their attention with that first scroll in your email, okay? So this is the mobile view. The desktop view is really similar. It is a screenshot straight from my computer. And as you can see, I have like a lot of bookmarks, a lot of things available. If they have tabs open, you really have to catch their attention quick. And this is what this section in red is supposed to do. So you have to catch their attention in the hope that they will read the email, click, and then purchase. But everything happens in that first section. We already covered that we only have 2 seconds. So if your email takes too long to load and it loads in more than 2 seconds, you already lost their attention. It is super important that your email loads quick. So there are 2 components to that. One is people's internet connection, and 2, your email file sizes. And internet connection of people, you can't really control that, but your other thing that you can control is your email file size. So as you have noticed, if you send an email that is just text to a friend of yours or a colleague, a coworker, then that email is just going to load instantly because it's just text, and text is really light. But oftentimes with e-commerce email, you're going to have to send images. You don't have to, but oftentimes you will. And the images that you send do have to be light. So I have a tutorial on how you can reduce your file sizes when you do send image-based email. But the gist of it is that you need to compress the file size of your email on site like compressors.io. Drop the images there, compress their sizes before importing them to Klaviyo, and then you'll be able to send emails that are light and that load fast. And when you do that, your emails will be light, and even with slow internet connection, people will be able to open them fast so you can catch their attention in a really short amount of time, as we discussed before. Okay, next, how to build your email so people consume it. Right here, you have one email design, and a lot of the time when you will build it in platforms like Figma, Photoshop, or whatever platform you're using to design the email, you're going to build it like this. So you'll have your logo and every bit of information you want to include in your email, but you really have to keep in mind that the only thing that we'll see when they open it is the first section that we call above the fold or the hero section, right? So you really have to make this part really engaging so that people can even get to the next part and click on your buttons and go on to purchase. So this is the section we call above the fold, and it's 1200 pixel wide by 1400 pixel in height. So we really have to nail that first section. And when you do design the email, I like to kind of stack the 2 together so you have a view of exactly what people will be able to see on mobile and desktop. So you will have your logo. A lot of the time you want to make your logo smaller just so you have more room above the fold. But yeah, this is one thing that you really have to keep in mind, because a lot of brand owners, they have a weak headline here, and the main point or like the main attention grabber of their email is just below that. And that's why they're not experiencing success with email marketing, right? Because people do not even consume the whole thing. They just stop at the first section, consider the email completely useless and not worth their time. They just go back to TikTok and you never see them again, okay? So this section is really important, and I will link a video around here on the screen just so you can learn how to create proper hero section. So now let's move on to the next thing. Text size, it's really important because every time you ask people to do some bit of extra effort, if they're not able to read your text easily, they have to zoom or do whatever. If it's too big, they have kind of to pull out their phone from their face, every time that you require them to do that, then they are more likely to bounce out of your email, not consume the content, not click, and not buy. So which one's the best? Which one should you opt for? In my experience, Arial, this is the font most people are using for like the main text element, the main copy. And for a mobile, you should pick size 14, it's really good. And for desktop, size 17 is amazing. Now, this is a mobile view, so the view most people will have when they open your email. And this is an email right next to it. So yeah, this text element right here is just way too small. You definitely want to increase the size. And as far as this button, this is not really the topic of this video, but you want to make it stand out way more, right? It blends in too much with the background and it is way too little, okay? So you definitely want to increase the size. And even after you're done optimizing the text size for different platform, you still want to send yourself a test email, right? Because this was the Gmail inbox. Now it will look slightly different whether you have a different inbox provider. So maybe you're on Outlook, terrible inbox to choose, by the way. Even if you're on Yahoo, stuff like that, it has tiny differences. And also if your screen size is different, so if you're not on mobile and you're on desktop, for example, it will look different. If you're on tablet, different again. And if you have dark mode, light mode turned on, it will look different again. So you definitely need to send yourself some tests and look at it from a desktop, look at it from a mobile, look at it from an Outlook inbox and stuff like that. And if you're not willing to do that, then you can use a platform called Email on Acid. You just Google that. And basically you'll be able to see your email from light mode, dark mode, and from the main iPhones, Samsung, and stuff like that. So you have multiple frame of references, okay? So you definitely need to do that, even if you can optimize it, like semi-optimize it that way. And this helps you kind of get an idea, but it is not like super accurate because you want to look at it from, again, different perspective, okay? So then a checklist, when you send yourself a test email, this is the thing you need to be aware of. So the first thing, make sure all the buttons and links go and redirect to the page you want, right? You definitely don't want to have some dead clicks. You can't really track that over email, but you don't want people to click on one thing and it doesn't bring them anywhere or it leads them to the wrong place. You definitely don't want that. Then the second thing you need to be aware of is your design should be responsive, because a lot of the time I see people sending themselves the email on mobile, checking it there, and then on desktop it looks completely different because they have like an HTML piece that only loads for desktop users, and then they'll look at it from their mobile, everything is cool, but then on desktop it looks completely different. So you definitely want to check on all platforms. This is really important. And what I mean by the design should be responsive, it should look good on all platforms. So if the text size is okay on mobile, it should also be okay for desktop users. Super important. Now, third point, people shouldn't have to zoom to read the text or understand what's on an image. Again, really important. This is part of responsiveness, but I still wanted to add it here. You should also make sure there's no delay between when people open your email and when it loads. Now, again, I have a tutorial on how to do that. I'll link it here. You should see it pop up on the screen right now. And last thing that you need to be aware of is your variable should populate correctly. So for example, if you're using the first name variable here and you're sending the email, you do not want people to receive that like line of code. You actually want them to receive their own name. All right, this is very important. Okay, so now key takeaways. You only have 2 seconds and 50% of people's screen at best to hook them and eventually get them to click and convert. So you need to be extremely smart about what content you put in your hero section, because this is the make or break of your email. If you keep on under delivering on this portion of the email, people will just not go on to read. Like they just won't, because this is the only thing they see. You kind of have to think about it like a heat map for a landing page. People will in most cases see that bit if your email loads fast enough. But again, as they scroll, you'll have more and more drop off. People will leave, they'll click on another tab they have open, or on TikTok if they have that on their phone. So most of your email results come from you building great above the fold section or otherwise hero section. This is kind of the two names they have in the field. And this is that red box right here. So if you want to learn how to build a great one, I highly recommend you check out my training on how to do so. It will be linked in the document that is right here. And that document, you can find it in the description. So go to the description so you can have this document and go on to watch that training on the hero section. And if you're a brand doing over $50,000 per month, Or emails will add $30,000 to $100,000 per month to your revenue. This is an offer I have right now. I'll do your emails completely done for you without destroying your brand reputation, overly discounting, or creating another line of work you need to manage. So our emails are completely done for you. We'll write, design, and launch them. You only have to review them once they're ready. And if that's interesting, you just click on here or first link in the description to get in touch with me. We'll just talk about what results you can expect out of working with us. And then I'll give you a price. And if it makes sense for you, then we can move on and get started. Okay? So if it makes sense, first link in the description or at retainereachmouth.com, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.